Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa from Literacy Volunteers, and I'm here in Joshua Tree National Park, and I'm looking at a sunrise and some beautiful rock formations. If you look over my shoulder, you can see all of the boulders there, and you can see all of these wonderful rock formations. When I get back into the office, we're going to do a lesson about the different types of rocks and rock formations that you can find across the United States. It's a beautiful, brisk morning here in Joshua Tree National Park, and I want to watch the sunrise. If I get a picture, I'll share it with you.
Here's the information behind the Joshua Tree rock formations. This is the history of how they occurred. We'll look at a little bit of a video and we'll look at some pictures, but the Earth's crust is broken into pieces that are constantly moving. We have what's called the Lithospheric Plates. They float over the asthenosphere. I know those are big words. Kind of like a raft floats on water, but these plates are constantly moving, the pieces of the Earth. And about 270 million years ago, most of the land on the Earth was gathered into one huge landmass called Pangaea. And then what happened is that broke apart. We're going to look at how some of those things happened. Here we have the Continental Plate, which would be part of the actual continent, the landmass. And then this is the Farallon Plate. And this is the water, the ocean, and the clouds, so you can kind of understand that some of this is underwater and some of it isn't. But here the continent was colliding with this plate that was on the seafloor. And so as they collide, they came together here, and then where they hit, right at this spot, this more dense Farallon Plate, it dove underneath of the Continental Plate. So we're going to look at, I kind of did some drawings here for you for that. So here is that Farallon Plate diving underneath of this Continental Plate, right? So underneath of this, we have all of the heat that is released. We have magma. It's called magma when it's under the ground and lava when it comes out. So we have all this magma that is generating heat underneath of the plate, and it released water and water vapor and different gases, and that's what these dots represent from this Farallon Plate. So we have all of this that's being released, and what this caused was fluids to rise up into the rock, right? So we have these fluids that are coming from down here and this heat rising up into the rock. And as they rise up into the rock, here we have them, we get these molten lava pockets, chambers of magma, chamber like a little enclosed space. So you have all this molten rock, this magma here inside of these chambers. And so now down here what happens is as these increase and they grow in magnitude, we have more and more and more magma. See how it broke open? It kind of stretched apart. So they grew, they break off pieces of the rock and follow the magma upward. So it's sort of like a huge force coming from underneath that pushes that rock out of the way and forces that magma up there. That's where the heat and the gas are coming from. And about 100 million years ago, what happens is that magma started to cool, and it cooled into stone. We call that rock igneous rock. We can look at the types of rock, but that type of rock is called igneous rock, that cooled magma. And then the hardest stone cracked under pressure. The hardened stone cracked under pressure. And then as that stone cracks now, the ground above it begins eroding away. So you know what erosion is, like that constant degradation of the soil that's above this rock. And then as it erodes, water seeps into those cracks right here where that stone cracked and slowly turns the nearby rocks to soil. So we have all of this erosion that occurred, and these rocks, pieces of cracked rock, are just lying here on top of each other. It kind of looks like someone stacked the rocks, but they didn't. That's the way they formed. And as that soil wears away, it leaves those towers of the rock we see today. So we're going to look at a little bit of video and some pictures of these rocks, but I wanted to tell you the process by which they were formed first.